that has to take place before our budget vote. And to present the information for the May 16th budget vote is our Assistant Superintendent, Victoria Galante. School year. Okay. Stay away from the... Yeah, I'll stand back here. How about if I go on the other side? Is your phone on you? Your phone in your phone? No. Okay, is that better, I think? Okay. So, as I was saying, since January, we have presenting the budget at every board meeting. And today is the budget hearing that has to take place. By law. So, again, in this budget hearing, you will see the budget for the 23-24 school year. And we'll start with the first slide that tells you that the Board of Education adopted the 23-24 budget on March 29th. The tax levy for the community of Glen Cove is going to be 2.52%. If you look at the money, what it translates into money, this year it was $73.4 million, and next year will be $75.2 million. That 2.52% does not require a majority vote. We are within the legal limit of the tax cap, which was reported to the Office of State Controller on March 1st, and they agree with the calculation. Here's just a little history of the tax levy for the district. If you see at the bottom, starting with 2011-12, that was the last year that the budgets were put together without the tax cap law. Moving up from that, from 2012 to 2013, is when the tax cap law came into effect. And as you can see, the difference in the levy amounts. Before tax cap law, your levy was at least 4%, if not higher. And with the tax cap law, you've kind of, huddled around that 2% increase. What's driving the increase to be a little bit more for next year is inflation, that 8% inflation, which is part of the formula. So we need to present the budget to the community in components. So there are 3 components. So we'll start with the administrative component, and I am not going to go line by line. All this information is on our webpage. I just want to explain, when you see a line like A1310, Office of Finance and Business, which is my department, it's not that amount of money for just one thing. That amount of money is broken down into multiple lines, all different things that the office needs to do, besides salaries, besides contractual obligations, besides, ads that we need to put into the newspapers when we go out to bid, supplies, memberships, professional development, and things like that are in all of these different lines. Very rare that it's only one item on a line. Same goes true for the Office of Superintendent, district meeting, and our auditors. We have about 6 different vendors that we pay auditing fees to. Again, I'm not going through each line. Not too much of a dollar change from one year to the next in most of these lines. On this slide, I'll talk a little bit about our insurance. It's A1910. Our insurance premiums have gone up. They go up for they've gone up for a lot of reasons. One, that the district has had, multiple claims. through our insurance. One big one being Storm Ida. So that's one. But again, think of it as insurance, like you have homeowners insurance and usually auto insurance. The district has the same thing. We have our liability insurance, we have auto insurance, we have student accident insurance, we have workman's comp insurance, we have disability insurance to pay, we have insurance for the tanks, the gas tanks that are underground, so on and so forth. We have cyber insurance and things like that. So we have a lot of insurances that we keep and we pay for. And again, that's all in place to protect the district and to protect the taxpayers, because if a claim is put in and we didn't have insurance to cover a certain claim, well, that claim is going to have to get paid with your money. So we have all this insurances in place to protect ourselves. And again, premiums have gone up, but when I look at it to all of the claims that we put in, it's something that is not something we can't avoid paying. So the total admin component, I believe it's gone up about or will go up about $286,000 from this year to next year. The next component is our capital component. And this is the, most of this here is the operation and maintenance of our facilities. So if you look at operation of the plant, again, there is a big dollar change, and it's not only contractual obligations, and they have gone up, not just for our employees, but for all the vendors that we have to bring in to do certain things for the district. But also, the district is trying to do more things in-house, and to do that, they need the supplies, they need tools, they need things like that. So once again, there is an increase on that budget line. Refund of real properties, those are the tax certs that you pay for your commercial properties. Over the past few years, we've seen this line go down. In fact, the $775,000 that's on that line for this year, we probably used only half of that money, and the rest of it will go back into the reserve. We have a reserve for these payments, so I'm not too concerned. If we need more than the $550,000 that we have budgeted for next year, we can always go into the reserve. So we won't take money out of the budget to pay anything over and above the $550,000 if we have to pay more. Bond principal and interest. As you can see, last year it was a higher number than it was, this year, this year is a higher number than it will be next year, because I separated the payments. Everything was lumped, all your bond payments were lumped into one figure. So to kind of make it more transparent for the community, I decided to break it out. So this bond payment is from your old bond, and there's only about 2 more payments after next year's payment on this bond, and then that $275,000 payment will no longer be needed. In its place, you have, you're going to have a new bond payment, but right now for next year, we're not borrowing all the money that's needed for the bond, or even part of the money that's needed for the bond. We're going to borrow what they call a BAN, bond anticipation note. It's a short-term borrowing. It's only for 1 year. So all the work that we do for the bond throughout this summer into next fall and next spring, you're only going to pay $308,000 for all that work. What will happen then, the following year, you will then see your principal and interest when we go out to borrow and again have to pay back principal and interest. The next line is your energy performance contract, which we are starting to do. And that was a lease purchase. It's a little bit different than borrowing for a bond. And that number, you will see the $506,890 for the next 15 years. That's how long it'll take to pay off that energy performance contract. The work that's going to be done is through that contract are heating, cooling, lighting, ceiling, solar, things like that. So that's that payment. So I wanted to keep everything separate. So even though you have this bond payment is going down by $667, you have these other additional payments, and actually it's just a matter of a few $200 and something thousand additional that you're paying. Transfer to capital. We started this a few years ago, probably more than 5, 6 years now. And what we do, we try to target projects at the district that are really going to be hopefully not turning into an emergency before we can address them. You know, we have a list of projects that we really need to address, and we use the money transferred to capital to address those projects. So for next year, that $1 million in the budget will go towards redoing the middle school PA system, fire system, and the clocks. It just made sense to do everything all at once. It's the same wiring and everything that we could use. It's more cost effective, and it would just work better that way than doing it in pieces. So the last component in the budget is the program component, and this is your biggest component in the budget. It's all about, you know, your teaching and instructional things, all your different classifications of items. So as you can see in this first slide, there's a big increase once again in our special ed. Okay, so why? Well, we have more students in the district that have special ed needs, whether it be services, whether it be that they need to attend an instructional setting outside of the district, things like that, testing for them. So again, by law, once they have an IEP and certain services need to be provided for them, the district needs to address those needs. The district is working on trying to address all these needs in a different way, maybe by bringing some of these students back into district and have special classes for them. That's huge. That would help. So I know Dr. Rihanna and a few other people are working on issues like that, seeing what can be done. Again, on this slide, not too much increases going on in any of these lines. Also in this group of lines. Contract transportation, again, there's always an increase on this line. Even though the school cannot go over a CPI of 2%, the contract transportation companies, their CPIs can be above that 2%. They are not capped. I believe this year or now they were like 6%, so we were kind of anticipating that CPI to go up for them, maybe to that 8%. So that's what that is. And we always kind of factor in the cost of another bus or two in case we have to transport a student to a school that we haven't normally, you know, transported to before. We have the money for the extra vehicle. The two retirement systems, one went up slightly, one went down slightly. So, you know, if you look at both of them, there wasn't too much of an increase. FICA is the taxes that the district pays on payroll. So naturally, when payroll goes up a little bit, so does FICA. Health insurance, again, that's one area that has gone up a lot this year. It went up 14% this year, and we had to estimate what it would be for the first 6 months of 2024. So we estimated maybe it would be up to 16%, and that's what we used. Again, both your active employees and your retirees have health insurance through the district. So when we have teachers or administrators or clerical retire, some of them still stay with the district for health insurance, and so that kind of drives that up. So for the total program, The dollar change is that $5,386,622. So if we put all these three components together and add them up, the total budget for 23-24 would be that $107,999,370. In this year's budget, you know, anyone who's listened to my presentations know that we have reserves. The district has at least 6 or 7 reserves that we can use when needed. But these 2 reserves we use every year, and we should use them. One is for workman's comp. Of course, we are self-funded for workman's comp, so we should use the money in that reserve. And the other is for the tax certs that you need to pay back, the $550 that we talked about a little earlier. So like I said, that the paying back of those tax certs doesn't really impact the budget because we are taking the money directly out of the reserve. So within the next couple of days or so, you will be getting the budget notice in the mail, or the 6-day notice as it was called. And it has a lot of information on it. What it does not show you is what your tax levy is going to be. It gives you other percentages, increases from, you know, one budget to another budget, or the change in consumer price index at 8%. That's really what your consumer price index, or your CPI, is for everyone. Your inflation rate is also known as. It is at 8%. But that's not what we're charging you. To me, this budget notice kind of is very confusing to a lot of people. But the important thing on this notice is that last column, the contingency budget. So what's a contingency budget? So if on May 16th the budget does not pass, the Board of Ed has a couple of options that they could do. They could either put the same budget up again, they could put up a different budget, maybe a lower budget, or they can go directly on contingency budget. So again, that would be a Board of Ed decision, once again, if the budget doesn't pass. And the next slide is just the bottom part of that postcard that shows you, again, school taxes, the levy, and things like that, and the administrative, all the components broken down, and what it would be like on a contingency budget. So, like I said, to me, the most important thing on that postcard that you're going to get is the contingency budget numbers. So what happens with a contingency budget? What happens is that the district cannot raise your taxes. So your tax levy for this year will be your tax levy for next year. So the difference between the tax levy from this year to next year is about $1.8 million, okay? That's what the increase is. That 2.52 basically represents $1.8 million. So if the budget fails once, if the budget fails twice, and we have to go on contingency, once again, we have to reduce the budget by that amount, $1.8 million. So where would the Board of Ed start? Well, they're definitely not going to start with instruction or with programs, because we are a school, and that's our job, is to educate the children in the district. So they're going to start by maybe increasing class sizes. They're going to have to think about eliminating all clubs and after-school activities. They're going to maybe have to eliminate band, orchestra, and chorus. Those are not mandated that we provide these to the children. High school electives, they could be either all eliminated or reduced. The use of our buildings and our grounds by outside organizations would be prohibited, because it does cost us to allow other organizations to come in and use our facilities. We still have to provide them with lights, heat, water, custodian, security, things like that. And a lot of times, if they are from Glen Cove, we don't charge them. It's free of charge. So we wouldn't be able to do that anymore. Elimination of all sports. We would only be able to purchase equipment, let's say iPads or Chromebook, for the students. If a clerical's computer goes down, we will not be able to replace that person's computer. It's only for the students that we could buy equipment for. And then we would have to look at staffing through all the units in the district and see where we could cut to make up for this $1.8 million that we would have to take out of the budget if we went on a contingency budget. So this year, you only have one proposition to vote on, and that's the school district budget. Last year you had 3, but this year you only have 1, just the budget. And then you will also be voting for your trustees. I believe two people are running. Little information, the budget vote will take place on Tuesday, May 16th, between the hours of 6 a.m. and 9 p.m. It also tells you your voting locations. If you are not sure, if you're new to the district and you're not sure where you go to vote, you can always call Ida Johnson, our district clerk, and she can help you out. But all this, again, is on our website. On our website, if you open up the main page, I believe it's on the right-hand side, it says Find Me Fast or whatever, and you press that button and that'll take you to all the information, or you could go through the other route under Board of Ed and then budget information. And then if anything, you can always call me or email me at my office. I'd be more than happy to help you understand or answer your question, and we just ask you to please remember to vote.
Thank you, Victoria. Now, we have been doing budget presentations since the mid to end of January. All those budget presentations are available on our website. We want people to make an informed decision. So at any time, as you're reviewing what has been done tonight and previously, if you have any questions, please email us, call us. We can make an appointment to sit with you, whatever is necessary so that you have that information, that it is clarified. It is a lot of information, so I know it's sometimes overwhelming, but it is important for us to provide you that information in clear, concise manner, and when you go to vote, you will have all that information clearly and understood so that you can make an informed decision. And I thank you. Thank you again, Victoria, for all your work through the budget process as you have every year.
We can take questions from the Board of Ed now, if they have any.
Yes.
And if not anybody on the board, if anybody in the public has questions about the budget, you can come forward to the podium and sign in with Ida. Doesn't seem like it.
Sure. Good evening, folks. How you doing, Doctor? How are you? Put myself on a timer so I don't go over. Good evening. My name is Charlie Perez. I live at Duke Place, 20 Duke Place in Glen Cove. I'm here to petition and ask this board in regards to the budget money. to employ armed school resource officers in every school in Glen Cove. I know on April 19th, there was a PTA meeting with Connolly and Gribben, and there was a 20-minute debate about this, and it was just a simple question by myself. Is there room in the budget to employ armed school resource officers in every school in this district? I know people got triggered, whatever you want to call it, about having lockdown drills in schools, which are necessary, but they do happen. I asked my son that night on the way home, do you do lockdown drills? He's in kindergarten. Yes, we do, Daddy. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Just making sure. That's all. That's all. It was a simple question. It was a little heated, but nonetheless, I am a firearms and tactics instructor. That's what I do for a living for my department. I'm an officer as well. I'm gladly willing to help any one of you to assess security threats in any of the schools, do whatever it is I have to do to make sure this can happen, because unfortunately, guns are not going anywhere. That is a sad reality, quote unquote, of what we do and what we live in America right now. So I'd rather have a sign that says armed staffed in this school. Any threat to harm children will be met with deadly physical force rather than gun-free school zone. That is a soft target, and that's exactly what bad guys go for. They look at that and they go, there's nobody armed in that school, that's what I'm going for. So I guess my question is, I know you said you spoke to Governor Hochul and everything. Okay, so whatever the case may be, I'm hoping that the state assembly can pass a bill like they just did in Texas in lieu of Uvalde a few months back, a year ago almost. Nashville recently, it's just continuous. So those things aren't going away. So the only way you can meet a threat of bad is with good. Aside from those cowardly officers in Uvalde, there are good ones that will do what they have to do. And we spoke at that PTA meeting in regards to it, and I'm willing to follow up and do whatever it is I have to do. I know it's not simple as passing a wand, and there's budget and room and money for having people in these schools with officers, whatever the case may be. You said, I don't want a kid taking a gun away from an officer at that meeting. Can I continue for 2 more seconds?
Go ahead, finish.
Okay, if that's the argument being made and a kid's gonna take a gun from an officer or armed security, then every single cop in America would be disarmed once they walk at the beat on New York City street, Chicago, LA, so on and so forth. That officer, that person should not have a firearm anyway, or should not be even coming close to school if they let a child take a gun out of a holster. So I think that with proper care, and even if it takes a little bit of time, I think we should be able to consider that. Thank you.
So, Mr. Perez, I do want to address some of the things you just said, because I think some of them were taken out of context. I think one of them was that I spoke about a child taking the gun out of, it was in the context of some scenarios where again, at that particular PTA meeting, we went through the budget, we talked, and the audience asked questions. You did speak your opinion, and at this point in time, the board has not authorized, nor have we discussed to the extent necessary to make a decision as to put armed officers or armed security in the school district. I will tell you, though, as a district, I have gone to training to speak to in regard to risk versus threat assessment teams in districts, and although it's not mandated in New York, it is a suggestion. We are looking at other security measures, and we will be discussing options throughout the year, I'm sure, as information is brought to the school district. In regard to this budget, no, that isn't a separate line. It isn't included at this point in time. But I will tell you that today I received information where we will be discussing it as Nassau superintendents, as well as recommendations to the state, different recommendations into the state as far as how best to serve. We work very closely with Homeland Security, Nassau Police, as well as Glen Cove Police, and so we look at security measures and how we can tighten those security measures. We cannot speak about those security measures, obviously, as you know, in public, as that would be inappropriate and would put our security measures at risk. So I think this is a conversation that may happen. I do know that that evening I did say I would contact you. That was about a week and a half ago, so I will be continuing to schedule something with you so that we can have a conversation at my office. Okay? Thank you.
Good evening, Gail Edward Gross, 69 Sugar Maple Lane. Just want to thank you for putting together this budget proposal for us. I know it takes a lot of work. I wasn't quite sure if I caught the current state aid amount since the budget was passed by the state, if that's the same number that was on your documentation previously. Second question I have is the bond. Projects, you said you're going to start working on them. I'm just wondering, are you going to be posting that online, the projects that are coming up, when they'll be starting, so that the public can follow that? I also would like to request, if possible, the four-year appropriation comparisons. Victoria, for reformatting that page, because apparently it goes into, if it could just be reformatted so we could print it out on one page, instead of the last column goes on to another page. It's like 14 pages, just for ease of someone that wants to print it or look at it as a whole. And it doesn't come out as a whole. It's on a PDF. So, yeah, just to reformat to make it fit on that page would be really appreciated by a number of people. So that was it, and I appreciate your work, and I wish everybody good luck. Thank you. So just those two questions, I guess, I have for you.
Victoria, did you want to talk about the aid, or do you want me to do that? I don't have a...
The current
The
state
current
aid.
The
Actual.
current aid on the budget we just got in from the state
Yeah.
yesterday, I believe it was, right? Yesterday?
Yeah.
I lost track of time. Was actually, our foundation aid was down by about $700,000 from the original number that they had given us.
So what's the total state aid at this point for Glen Cove for this coming year?
I don't have
Proposed.
the exact total with me right now.
So you don't know if it's a 27.8, if it's still that number or less or more?
It's less, 600.
So you're saying it's going to be less?
Yes.
Okay. And the bond projects, will that be going up
As
online?
far as the bond projects, they have been posted since last fall. And actually, right after the bond passed, we put a capital projects page, a facilities projects page. It actually separates those projects in the bond versus other projects that are underway with a start date. And I actually did a presentation, so if you want to go back to a previous board meeting, I think it was around February. If you call my office, I'll be more than happy to give you the exact board meeting. But I did present to the public that we want to keep them informed. Any changes in the schedule, any updates, and any progress will be posted. And so the bonds projects that are starting July 1 are already on there. There has not been any changes since we scheduled them. Obviously, we're completing our state ed approval so that those projects could move forward. But it is on our website. There's a facilities capital projects page that has been established.
else have questions? Okay, I guess we're gonna adjourn this meeting then.
So this was sorry, this was a separate board meeting. It was the budget proposal, and so we will be adjourning this meeting. Don't go very far because we are going to start up again in 2 seconds. So we're going to end the budget meeting and we're going to start the regular board meeting so that I can do some really fun stuff about recognizing some of the people in this audience tonight. So,
Okay, so,
adjourn?
yes. Well, we'd have to take a motion for adjournment?
Yes.
Okay, so Maureen and Leah, all in favor? Okay, so that's 6 of us. Okay, so we're adjourned. You want to go right into it?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so I'm calling the meeting to order. Could everybody stand to the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
To the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to do roll call now. Lynn James. Megan Levine.
Here.
Ann Markoulis is absent this evening. Angela Ramo.
Here.
Leah Leone.
Here.
Maureen Jimenez.
Here.
And I am here, so that's 6 of us. Okay, so minutes. Can I get a motion on the minutes? Maureen and Lynn. Any questions or comments on the minutes? No? Yes? Okay. All in favor? Okay, Lynn? Oh, that's right. So Lynn is abstaining, right, on the minutes? And we have 5 approving the minutes for the last meeting. Okay. Audit committee, so we do have committee reports this evening, and we'll start with audit. Do you want to chime in there, Lynn?
Okay, so the district will be starting the closing of its books. The auditors are coming in for a couple of days in June to do the pre-testing. At that time, I will get in touch, well, before they come in, I will have a date when they're coming in, and I will get in touch with the audit committee so they can have a meeting with the external auditor. And it will probably be Zoom because he really has nothing to talk to you about except the procedure that they go through to close the books for the district. So I think we could do that by Zoom, okay? Again, as soon as I get the date, I will let the audit committee know that, okay?
Okay, thank you, Victoria. Policy committee?
So during the month of April, we met as a committee and we looked at 4 different policies. Policy 4000, which was student learning standards. Policy 4200, curriculum management. Policy 4511, textbook selection and policy 4512, which is library materials selection. We reviewed all of those policies. And we made a recommendation just to change some of the language in terms of pronouns that were used in the one of the policies, and that is on today's first read. And we will be meeting again May 23rd. And the agenda is all on our district website under committees. And for that meeting, we have a couple of policies that we will be reviewing as well. And once again, that is on the district website.
Thank you. Okay, so the facilities report.
Okay, so I have a list of a few little items to tell the community. So at the high school, the new stage rigging that was put in place a few years ago has been inspected, and the staff got training on the use of the rigging. At Landing School, the principal's main office had floor abatement, and a new floor was installed. At Connolly School, at the playground, the spinner was repaired. At Carriage House, the entrance vestibule was rebuilt by our maintenance crew. The offices and conference rooms were relocated, and new shelvings were built where they keep their records, in their record room. Daisy School, the lower hallway was painted, door was painted, and the boiler room was cleaned and organized. And the middle school seems to have most of the work done this past month. The backflow preventer seal kit was replaced by a maintenance crew. The 1910 building fire alarm panel was replaced by an outside contractor. The lower gym fresh air intake was repaired. They also had their stage rigging, which is new, inspected, and the staff got training on that. And the softball field at the middle school was filled with red clay. Now, I don't think we actually were able to tell the community this because we didn't do a facilities update last board meeting, but right before last board meeting, I went on the FEMA website. You know, we've been working with FEMA because of Storm Ida. So with Storm Ida, our damage to 3 of our buildings, high school, landing, and middle school, came out to approximately $3 million. Our insurance company covered $1 million. FEMA covered the other $2 million. But on top of that, FEMA also doubled it and gave us money to do mitigation, money to put drains where drains are needed so we don't get flooding, flood doors in most of the high school exterior doors. So for the past year and a half, we've been talking about this. But what happened before last board meeting, they actually obligated the money to the district, which means they agreed to pay the district all this money. So that's only 90% of the damages. So lo and behold, I guess on Friday, I get an email now from a gentleman for the state, because the state is supposed to pay the other 10%. So I'm starting to work with the state for the other 10%, which, you know, is going to be easier process because they also have access to all the FEMA records. So a lot of the things that they're looking for, we already have provided FEMA with, and they know that. And I guess they feel if FEMA obligated us this, it's actually $4.8 million actually that's going to come to the district from FEMA, and the state will give us about another $500,000. So I just wanted to let the community know, because you knew I was speaking with FEMA on a weekly basis, trying to get them to give, you know, to help us pay for these damages.
Thanks, Victoria. Does anybody have any questions for Victoria? Okay.
I do
Maria?
want to make a comment. I want to thank Victor, our Director of Facilities, and Victoria. The Victoria team has really been extremely busy working with the officials at FEMA and our insurance company to regain some of the monies that we had to use during the emergency, during Tropical Ida, and the damage it has done. It's not an easy process. Anyone who's gone through it sometimes throws up their hands. And so I want to thank our staff, Victor and Victoria, their relationship with the FEMA representatives, their patience as they collected all the information and reviewed it and asked for additional information. And I think the district was able to not only recover the funds, but also gain funds that will allow us to put mitigation projects in place that will help this not happen again in the future, no matter how hard it comes down in rain. So thank you again.
Thank you, Victoria, on behalf of the board as well. I appreciate all your hard work. Maria, do you want to do your supers report?
So I get to do my super duper, as they say. So a number of years ago, we started a program, and it was in various grades, and it was called STEAM, STEM. And then we decided to add a little bit to the program, expanded to additional grades, and it was called STEAM. And then, just when we thought we had a good name, we realized that much of what is happening was also teaching children how to do research. And that became our STREAM program. We're not adding any more letters, but the curiosity of some of the parents came to our attention. Their children would go home with different projects, and it was a little confusing to some. So what came of that was our first STREAM night. And truly, it was a night where parents were shown by their children some of the work that is done in class on a weekly basis. We have some exceptional STREAM teachers, and I have to say there were some student volunteers during our first STREAM night who said, well, that's not fair. We didn't get STREAM when we were in elementary school, and that's exactly where we started it. We actually had Regent Tillis come to read to one of our classes one time, and he said, your kindergartners are doing research. I said, yep, look out. They are our future. And it really has become a necessary part of our program, part of the educational experiences that our students have. The problem solving that is shown as a result has really resulted in students thinking far different than we ever thought possible. So once the pandemic was over, one of the first things that was asked was, could we bring STREAM night back? I got scared because it is such a big undertaking. But so now, at this point in time, I'd like to recognize the administrators involved in putting this night together, not a simple task. And if I can, Victoria Schilling, Corey Kindelman, Victoria Schilling Curtis, our director, a coordinator of science, Corey Kindelman, our director of technology, Jacqueline Burnett, our elementary principal at Landing, Cassandra Shannon, coordinator for mathematics. I'm calling your names. Could you please stand up? Come up front, please. Stand here. Bryce Kladsky, our principal at Connolly School. Melanie Arfman, our principal at Daisy School. Melanie, there's a rumor that you're leaving us at the end of the year. I think the board was going to rip up the letter of retirement, but we thank you again for all the continuous service over the many years that you've been in our district. And Kristen Schaefer, our director of ELA, our coordinator for ELA. So, like I said before, this isn't an easy task, and they needed help. And so, to our STREAM teachers, Mr. Ken Altamirano, STREAM teacher at Landing, Cheryl Carmody, STREAM teacher at Connolly, Jessica McKenna, I think you're in more than one building, Jessica. Where are you? Caitlin Hutter, Amanda Silverman, and the teacher of the students when Regent Tillis came to our district, that was actually doing a storytelling, and the children in that class thanked him by sending an electronic thank you that was totally created by those children, Giselle Taylor. So a great hand for her. Now, of course, the teachers couldn't do it alone either. So we have these group of adults, but now let's show them who really got this night going. If I can speak to staff that helped, Michael Battaglia, Thomas Bergen, Diane Bruscini, Natalie Camisa, Elizabeth Costella, Heather Cullen, Ashley DeCurtis, Cynthia Gerasi, Antoinette Lapatos, I think I did that right, Jesmel John, Katie Kenny, Gregory McGann, Alicia Tirado, Christina Rossi, and Mary Jean McCarthy, Adelphi. But now, no night would have been as successful if it wasn't for our student volunteers. So as I call your name, please come up. Riley Aglette, 7th grader at the middle school. Jason I'm sorry, is Riley here? She's at dance? Okay. All right, it's good to know. Jason Chipatas, 8th grade, middle school. Mia DeFrancisco, 7th grade, middle school. Liana Marino, 7th grade, middle school. Sophia Flamia, 8th grade, middle school. Nyla Gomez, 7th grade, middle school. Nyla here, right? Come on, Nyla. Shh. I got to pay middle schoolers to smile. Come on, let's do it. Okay, I lost my place. There's so many here. Ella Nosa, 7th grade, middle school. Isabella Linares, 7th grade, middle school. Brittany Jaco, 8th grade, middle school. Ashley Green, 12th grade, high school. Jackson Pappas, 8th grade, middle school. Junior Ramirez Hernandez, 7th grade, middle school. Alexandra Ramsaran, 7th grade, middle school. Delmi Rodriguez, 10th grade, high school. Juan Rimapamba, 7th grade, middle school. Carlos Salgada, 8th grade, middle school. Sophia Salinas, 7th grade, middle school. Oliver Smith, 7th grade, middle school. Ryan Sajewski, 7th grade, middle school. Paula Valle, 7th grade, middle school. Heather Alvarado, 10th grade, high school. Carolyn, oh my gosh, I'm going to butcher this name ahead of time. Dayanyeva, 9th grade, high school. Is she here? I'm going to have to apologize to her. Maverick Salgado, 8th grade, middle school. Leslie Esteban, 8th grade, middle school. Sophia Zapata Diaz, 9th grade, high school. David Jimenez, 7th grade, middle school. Grace Gillian, 10th grade, high school. Harrison Valencias, 11th grade, high school. Okay, I have to come around for a minute. I have an Italian voice even without the microphone. I'm sure you can hear me. Did I miss anybody in the audience that volunteered? I'm sorry that all the students couldn't come, but I'm sure they're involved in so many other great things. They have volunteered their services to help put on the Family Fun Night, the Family Stream Night. I can't thank you enough. Thank you, all of you, for giving time out of your time off to help present such a wonderful, wonderful evening. No, not me. All right, wait 1 second. Did I? What? Yeah, Okay, they want me to organize the picture. Hold on one second. Now, there's always a little competition from the green to the red side of town, and Miss Doshner, the former principal at Landing School, just said they're all from Landing School. And Miss Arfman just pointed out they went to Daisy first. Thank you so much. Now I'm going to tell a story, another amazing story from Glen Cove. Don't ever say my kids are not great. So I get an email not too long ago, and it's about a competition. And my history with these kind of emails is I send them to one of my administrators. They're all mine, by the way. And about giving an opportunity to some of my children. I'm sorry, I know you give them to me during the school day, but they really are mine. And I say to the administrators, can we give them an opportunity to participate? What's the worst that can happen? Okay? And so we have a history. We have the Northwell Challenge, 700 students from all over Long Island, and we have yet to come back without placing first and or second in every category. Let's give our kids a hand. And another time somebody said to me, we have a linguistics competition in Nassau County, and maybe your school would like to compete in the future. And I said, sure, when is the program? And they said, well, not this year. It's already January, and I think it took place like the end of March that year, the beginning of April. And I said, well, what can hurt? I'll see if any students are interested. And the woman that put together the linguistics competition said, you know, there are students that have been training for this for about 2 to 3 years. I said, okay, well, what's the worst that can happen, right? I'm sorry, we came in first and second. Now, both those competitions were at the high school level, right? So this year, we got an email, and I sent it to Ms. Doshner and Ms. Shannon, and I said, can our students participate in this? It's for all elementary students, and it's called First in Math. I'm not sure anybody knows, but I'm a little bit of a math geek myself. Yes, thank you, Cassie. She understands me. And so, Ms. Shannon, Ms. Doshner got together, the principals, set up this opportunity, and our teachers worked with our students to begin to get them ready for this competition. So usually it's a Nassau competition. Well, this one is a statewide competition, but they're going to do it in phases. I said, all right, whatever. Let's see what happens. Where are my 3 kids? Huh? No, that's not them. Oh, okay, there you go. Can I see Jacob Palazzo, please? There you go. This kid named Tommy Scagliola here? And is Drew Wilson here? Oh. Come stand here. All right, it's okay. It's a big moment for them. Now, their teachers, raise your hand if you have Miss Tenke. There you go. Yeah, it's a little tricky there, hands are full. And Miss Crumledge? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the winners of 2nd grade, beating out Nassau County, Putnam, and Westchester counties. Can I have Miss Shannon and Miss Arfman up? Turn it over. And Nicole is here? Miss Tanky. Oh, you look like one of the kids. Miss Tanky? I'm getting older as we speak here. Okay, come over here first. Okay. Now, these young people actually helped their school out tremendously because their winning this level allowed their school to get a $1,000 prize. I'm going to lean this up against you. Can you do that? Thank you. Now wait a minute, it gets better. Thank you. It gets better. Look, this is a multi-talented group. But our state assembly has decided that this was an outstanding performance. I could have told them that. And so, you are getting an official citation from the New York State Assembly, whereas a great state achieves the most unique status only as a result of extraordinary contributions made by its citizenry, as exemplified by Jacob, Drew, and Tommy, individuals that have rendered remarkable and outstanding service to our community, have made us proud, and on this day is recognized for their contribution as the regional winners of a statewide elementary mathematics tournament, online, no less. First in math in the 2nd grade division at the First in Math tournament, and whereas such civic dedication and service, which are indeed the lifeblood of any great community, people, and state, well merit and warrant special recognition. Now, therefore, be it resolved that as a duly elected member of the State of New York's Assembly, I recognize Jacob, Tom, and Drew as regional winners, first in math, and is well worthy of the esteem of both our community and the great state of New York, provided by Charles Levine, member of the Assembly. So wait a minute, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. All right, Thomas, I think I got Drew over here. Okay. Now, the State Assembly also realizes that our students are supported by great teachers, and so a citation is also awarded to their teachers, Miss Natalie Tankey and Miss Nicole Cummings. I'm going to ask you to give her rights, okay? Now, if this wasn't enough, these young people will go into the next round. And so we will be traveling to the University of Albany for the next round. Guys, I know you're working hard to prepare. It is going to be in person, but we have great confidence in you, and already you have made Glen Cove so very, very proud. We will all be cheering you on. We know you're going to do your best. You already proved to us you are the best. All right, lots of pictures. Oh, okay, I'm going to get in this one. I'm super proud. They're giving autographs at the end. Okay. Look at Roxy, because she's taking pictures. All right, boys, don't move. Okay, thank you. Take care of the citation. All right. You got it, buddy. Okay, thank you. Do you get the big check?
This is for the ATM machine.
All right. Yes, they're done. They can sit back. Oh, I'm sorry. They better get used to this. They'll be up a couple of times.
Oh, did you want to say anything?
All right. And that is a very proud superintendent's report.
All right. Okay, so we're going to move onward. We have our student board member is not here, so we don't have that report, but we do have another public participation. If anybody has any questions or comments on the agenda items, you can come forward. No?
I think we lost.
Huh? No. No. Okay, so moving on. We have our instructional report.
Aleka?
Based on the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, I ask the Board of Education to approve agenda item 7 on the instructional report. A, Committee on Special Education. B, Committee on Preschool Special Education. And C, approval of spring curriculum writing projects.
Can I get a motion? Angela and Megan. Any questions? All in favor? Okay, that's 6 of us. Okay. All right. Business affairs.
Upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, a motion is requested for the approval of agenda item 8, business affairs A, finance 1 and 2.
Can I get a motion? Angela and Megan, any questions? All in favor? Okay, that's 6. All right.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, the PTA donation, is that, we didn't get there yet. Yeah, we're not up to operations. It's okay. Sorry, Victoria, go on.
Okay. Upon the recommendation of superintendent of schools, a motion is requested for the approval of agenda item 8, business affairs B, operations 1 through 12.
Can I get a motion? Leah and Maureen, Any questions? All in favor? Okay, that's 6 of us.
Upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, a motion was requested for the approval of agenda item 8B, operations number 13 as amended.
Can I get a motion? Megan and Lynn? Okay, any questions? All in favor? Okay, that's 6.
At this point in time, I'd like to thank the Connolly School PTA as they have provided a donation to the staff at Connolly in honor of Staff Appreciation Week. They added items to the staff lounge at Connolly School, and we thank them for their generous donation.
Thanks very much to the PTA for that. Okay, so personnel?
Based upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, I ask the board to approve agenda item 9, personnel A certified 1 through 4.
Can I get a motion? Lynn and Megan, any questions? All in favor? Okay, that's 6.
And based upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, I ask the board to approve agenda item 9, personnel B classified 1 and 2.
Can I get a motion? Maureen and Leah, questions? All in favor? Okay, that's 6. All right, so any unfinished business? I believe we have none. New business, we have a policy number 400 for first reading. Anybody from the committee like to speak about it, or does anybody have any questions? Go ahead.
Are there other policies that will need to be looked at for the similar changes? Or you just, did you have some like earmarked, or are you going in an order, I guess?
I think we're doing these types of changes, which is like for pronouns, and we are going as we review the policies, because some include these necessary changes, some don't, some more than others. So this happened in all the 4 policies we looked at. This was the only one that needed these changes, so this is what we're sort of how we're going forward, I think.
Thanks.
Right? Okay.
It was just a change from he, she to they. So, okay. All right. So I don't see any other questions or comments on that. Okay. So anybody have anything they want to share? Any board comments or? No? Everybody's quiet tonight? Okay. Public participation. We have, this is for any topic you would like to, any question you have, non-agenda? Going, gone. Okay. What? No, I don't think so. Oh, go ahead.
So we added the boys tennis team to the middle school.
Yes.
And they won their first home match. So that was pretty exciting, and it'll be even better when we have new courts to match the fun teams. So.
And if you would check our website, we will be doing the courts in the fall. And so for the next spring season, they will be playing on our new courts. So we're looking forward to that as well.
Okay.
But it was exciting.
Yeah, no, that's great news. It was wonderful. Okay. Maureen?
Hi, we just wanted to mention all of the nice events that we have going on the night of the budget vote. In the high school, there's the first annual research symposium from 6 to 8, an art show display at the high school from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m., the high school spring festival of the performing arts, part 1, 6:30 to 7:30, and visual art display at Connolly in the day and the evening. So when you go down to vote, you could check out some of the great things that are going on in the schools right now.
And concerts. Concerts are starting up, I believe, next week. Anyone can come out and watch the kids sing and play their instruments. They're amazing. Middle school, I believe, is next week, and Daisy.
So the full calendar is on our website. Please check to see if you want to smile. Please find a concert and attend. I guarantee there will be smiles at that evening. We're looking forward to the number of concerts over the next 4 weeks, actually.
Yeah, not to mention the first spring concert at the high school, which will be the night of the vote as well.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else? Anybody wants to share anything like that? Okay, we have no other public comment. I'm going to get a motion to adjourn. Leah, and thanks, Maureen. All in favor? Okay, thank you.